In 3, 2, 1.
Today, on the Season 2 premiere of Inside the Basket, we preview the upcoming season of Titan basketball. We have a new Get to Know Your Titan and a special guest coming into the studio to discuss the new season. All this and much more on Inside the Basket. Well, if you ask me, there's nothing better than proving someone wrong in a time of adversity. Even better, fans love underdogs. And there's no better time to prove the Big West what the Titans are all about.
And we're excited about that, but obviously we've got to get through the drawing board immediately and continue to find ourselves from an identity standpoint and establish who we are and who we're going to be if we anticipate playing any better basketball.
Hello and welcome back to Inside the Basket. I'm Jasmine Arenas, joined by our new analysts, Alan Huerta and Christian Vigil. Welcome to the show, guys.
Jasmine, thank you for having us here. It's certainly an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this.
Of course.
I'm, very excited to be here. Very excited for Fullerton Hoops. I'm excited to see what this team can do for this season for both the men's and the women's team.
Of course, and talking about Fullerton Hoops, let's start with the men's team. Coming off a disappointing season, what are you guys looking forward to the most from this year's squad?
For this season's team, I'm very excited to see their added depth that they have this year. They've added 13 players to the roster, so they do have more players this year. I'm excited to see what they can do now, to see what they learned from last year. They had some few growing pains last year. Their record was 10-20. They can learn from the losses and turn out for a better year this year.
Definitely.
And to add to that depth topic, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is the fact that they've added some size to this front court. They got 3 players, 6'10" or above, which is going to be very interesting to see how Coach Taylor, because the last couple of years he's been playing more of a small ball lineup. Yeah. I want to see how they implement the big guys into the rotation.
They also have added a few transfers, so I'm very excited to see. They added Riley Deering from Wisconsin. They got the player from LSU, so that's very exciting to see for this year.
And speaking of the players, the Big West Freshman Player of the Year had an important role with the Titans last season, past Bobby Browns, who now, by the way, plays in the NBA with James Harden and the Rockets' record for most points in a freshman season. That's Khalil Ahmad. He is currently disqualified due to academic performance. What do you guys think his absence will do to this team?
Well, first off, you lose one of your primary scorers. He's been averaging about 14 points a game, your second leading scorer, one of the biggest, brightest stars in the Big West. So that certainly is a lot to lose if you're a part of Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, like Christian said, you're losing one of your primary ball handlers, your scores, 14.3 points per game. That was, second highest in the team. So I think now it's just a matter of they have to find a way to replace him as a team, as a collective group. And I think Trey Coggins now has that much more importance to this team. And although he is a scorer, he's going to have to find a way to be the primary ball handler and lead this team to victory.
Do you think Trey Coggins can be more a facilitator this season?
I think he's going to have to be both, because with the loss of Ahmad. Now he still has to do the scoring. He is probably going to lead the team in scoring. But now, especially, we talked about the new players there is a lot of young talent on this team. So at first, he's going to have to lead the way, both, like you said, as a scorer and as a ball handler.
And the Titans were ranked number 6 in the preseason Big West poll. Now, who stood out in the exhibition, and who do you guys believe is looking to play a bigger role this season from what you guys saw at the exhibition game versus St. Martin's?
For me personally, I really like Jackson Rowe, what he did. He had 10 points, got, I think, about 4 rebounds. And the thing that I liked about him the most was just he was very active on the offensive boards. He was defending a few players that were, maybe 4 or 5 inches taller than him, but he's very physical. And I think he's one of those players that kind of reminds you a little bit about Larry Nance Jr. on the Lakers.
Yeah.
He's very active. Not a lot of plays have to be set up for him. He's just gritty. He just gets out there, just crashes the boards. He can score on offensive rebounds, and he's someone that really caught my attention in the exhibition game.
Jackson Rowe, Larry Nance. Wow. All right, let's give it up. Christian.
To kind of keep it in the front court type of players, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Richard Peters. I saw him play. Now, granted, he did have a couple gimmies in the paint that he missed, but I think that'll come with time. He'll improve. But I do like the way he plays. He's 6'11", 270 pounds. He's a big boy, big body, something that the team desperately needs, and it's going to be very fun to see how he plays because he brings a lot of hustle. He's been getting a lot of offensive rebounding. That's something that the team desperately needs.
Offensive rebounding, something that the team desperately needs, which leads to the next question. What style is the team going to play? What do you guys think? Are they going to take on more of an inside game, perimeter game, or maybe both?
Christian and I were having this discussion prior to the show. Personally, for me, I think they might use a 3-guard lineup. This is something we saw in the exhibition against St. Martin's. And I just think since they are guard heavy, they do have a lot of guards on the roster. I think he could, Taylor could kind of, try out a few different rotations and see what works because they can't score the ball. But I think the one thing that does lead to is defensively, how are they going to turn out?
Well, to touch on defense, I think he's going to more lean towards a big guy lineup. He'll have, I think this is kind of like my projected lineup here. I think Darcy Malone will start at the center. He's a 7-footer. He can block shots. He can also shoot the 3, so that brings out a little more range, spread the floor a little bit. You also have Richard Peterson in there, clean up the glass, so I think he's going to look more of a big guy lineup because the last couple of years, like I said earlier, they've been playing more with a small ball lineup. Hasn't really worked out the last couple of years, so maybe he might experiment, bring in a couple big guys, see what they can do.
The one thing that I think is, safe to say is that, with 17 players on the roster, I think Taylor is going to, experiment a few rotations, a few starting lineups early in the season to see, what works for them, especially with the loss of Iman.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to women's basketball, we had our very own Jessica Lucero catch up with women's basketball guard Jade Vega for a Get to Know Your Titan in 60 seconds. Jessica, take it away.
I'm Jessica Lucero here for Inside the Basket, and I'm here with women's basketball guard Jade Vega. Jade, we're going to play a little game we call Get to Know Your Titan in 60 seconds. Are you ready?
Of course.
All right. So we're going to start off with pregame ritual.
My pregame ritual. I just have one that's just kind of like listening to music. I don't really do anything.
Pregame music.
Definitely something.
Oh, there we go. My next question was going to be Drake or Kanye, but you obviously answered that. Who's your celebrity crush?
Odell Beckham.
Okay, good one. Favorite food?
Macaroni and cheese.
Ooh, classic.
So,
Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Oh, definitely. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Favorite emoji?
Laughing emoji.
Good one. What's your hidden talent?
When I was younger, from like 3rd grade, 8th grade, I played the saxophone.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Who's your biggest fan?
My parents.
All right, and what's your favorite movie?
Like,
Okay, good one, good one. We're gonna finish off with, could you do your best impression of Kawhi Leonard?
straight face. All
Straight
day.
face, straightforward.
No emotions.
Good one, good one. And that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for playing. Back to you guys in the studio.
Women's basketball has turned the page and opened a new chapter this season. New players, a new assistant coach, and of course, a new attitude. Who stood out in the exhibition game versus International Hope?
Well, to me, Jordan Jackson definitely stood out. She had 23 points. She was the leading scorer. And she kind of seemed that she was just scoring from everywhere. So that's very exciting for her. And it's something that I'm excited to see if it could progress towards the season.
Christian.
I'm about to name you 3 players.
Go.
Michelle Berry, Danny Craig, Samantha Logan. Our main scorers from last season, definitely going to need more scores for this season. Like you said, Jordan Jackson's probably the only one that really stood out because she was very aggressive, 29 shots like Alan said. That's definitely something to look forward to, having that scorer be very aggressive, kind of know when to take over.
Yeah, they did have 5 players in double figures, something very key to see with the very young team. I think Coach Park is going to, mix and match the starters, see who he can bring off the bench. But having five people in double figures is something good, even though it was just an exhibition game.
Correct. And who do you guys believe is looking up to their game and take a bigger role this season?
Well, I think it has to be a collective effort, just because it's a very young team.
Seems like that's the theme of collective
Yeah,
effort.
it has to be a collective effort, just because like you said, they have a new assistant coach. It's kind of, they're trying to turn the chapter for the next chapter of women's basketball, and just like we saw in the exhibition game, a lot of different players scoring. So I think it's not just be one person, but I mean, just to name a few, I think Iman Lathan and Jordan Jackson are the two of my go-to players for this year.
Yeah, definitely. Iman Lathan has shown her resiliency in this game, and she says, I'm just willing to get out there and play. I just want to win games, and just put me on the court.
Yeah, just because, especially for a player that's coming off a redshirt season where she had to sit on the bench while this team struggled last year. I'm sure that was very hard to take. You want to be out there to help your team, but you can't because of the NCAA rules. But now that she's on the court, I think she looks like she's excited, ready to go. I mean, I would too if I was, waiting the season to play.
Definitely.
Yeah, to address that, it looked like also as well, she's bonding with her teammates really well from last year and especially this year too. Usually a team coached by Darian Park usually fights. They're all together. They bond well. So nothing different this year from last year, so it's going to be very exciting to see. What I noticed from the exhibition game against Hope is that they've had active hands on the defensive end, so that's certainly something I'm looking forward to seeing, see what they can do on that side of the basketball. So it'll be very fun to watch.
Yeah, they're very guard oriented. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're not the biggest team, so having their active hands on the passing lane is something that can lead to steals and, more importantly, easy points on the offensive end.
Yeah, and they're a little undersized too. They don't have
Yeah.
a lot of players on the roster, so they're going to need some of that. Get some quick buckets in transition, so that's something that
Yeah,
they could
I
definitely
think
need.
transition points is something that we have to know down, see how it's going to play out towards the year, because being undersized, we definitely do need that.
Yeah.
And final question, what style is the team going to play? Is it going to be more of an inside game, perimeter, or both?
It may have to be an outside game. I'm more inside oriented, but at the same time, when you take a look at this lineup, what they have on the roster, they don't exactly have players that can score in the paint. So it's going to have to start with the outside shot. Like I said, moving the basketball, hopefully get some open shots in the perimeter, and hopefully they can knock it down.
Do you agree, Ellen?
Yeah, I think they have to play outside in, but the one thing with that, I'm hoping that they don't just settle for outside shots.
Yeah.
They find a way to, to get into, have some drives, attack the rim, really penetrate, to get easy shots, get some layups, open up those shooters on the outside. But most importantly, we're talking about defense, having the hands on the active lanes. So getting steals and getting quick points, because this is a team that did struggle last year, defending, getting points on the board. So I think if you can help out your team by, getting a few early points, get the tempo going for this team, that's what's going to help them for the year.
Yeah, and to touch up on that, it seems like every game last year, they were always in it defensively.
Yeah.
They just could not find ways to score the basketball easy and effectively. So that's certainly going to be a challenge for them moving forward. If you take a look at this lineup, again, this roster, they don't have scorers in the paint. So they need to find ways to move the basketball, get a lot of open shots in the perimeter, and hopefully, like I said, they can knock it down. They've struggled offensively the last couple of years. Hopefully this year with, Jordan Jackson coming in, hopefully she'll be a facilitator along with Jade Vega.
Well, hopefully this season is a different season, definitely more prosperous for the Titans. Well, we had the opportunity to speak to the women's basketball team, and please welcome a third-year women's basketball guard, Iman Lathan. Welcome to the studio.
Hi guys.
Hi, Iman.
Good.
Thanks
Red-
for coming.
Thank you.
You're on the sidelines last year, like you said. The team did struggle all year. For you, how did it feel, being on the sideline, kind of like you couldn't help out the team? Was it frustrating at times?
Yeah, it was really frustrating, but it was definitely character building. So like being on the court now, I don't take it for granted. So it taught me a lot. It made me appreciate the game.
What would you think from last season? What would you take the most from the team they had the team you guys had last year to kind of like implement that for this year?
Just the fact that we're all that we have. We learned that the core group that we have here, that we're tight and that we will do anything for each other. So if we could just keep that going, that unifying factor with the team, we should see success.
How important do you think that is, having that that bond between the core?
I think it's very important because it's easier to transfer success on the court if you get along in the locker room. So I like that our team isn't cliquey and that we're all genuinely friends and we all like each other.
What are some hobbies you guys do besides basketball? Like, do you guys ever go out together as a team, or?
Yeah, we go out. We like to make fun of each other. But that's pretty much it. We just chill in the living room primarily. And just,
All right, going back to basketball. What is something that you're looking forward to this season?
playing.
Besides playing, like
Winning.
games, and how are you guys able to do that with this new team?
Just because we're really athletic and fast, and we can score from every position. Everybody can score. Like in our exhibition against Hope, we had several players in double digits. So it's going to be nice to not have to carry a burden individually, but we can all, I could pass it to anybody, know that they can put them on the basket.
How was your feeling of being out there? Although it was an exhibition, like you said, you sat out last year, being out there on the floor as a Castle Fullerton Titan.
It was nice. I was really nervous. I hadn't played since February of 2015, so I was very nervous the whole 40 minutes, but it felt good. It made me feel like I was a little kid again.
Been able to work on in the offseason? Is there something you kind of want to work on, shooting, ball handling?
Just my confidence, and then just being encouraging to my teammates, being an energy, like an energy spark on the court. That's pretty much it. The other stuff comes naturally.
Well, we're going to play a game, Iman. It's a really quick game. It's just called How Well Do You Know Your Titan Basketball History? First question. Who played with Cal State Fullerton from 2003 to 2007 and is currently in the NBA?
Bobby Brown.
Is she correct?
She got it.
Ding,
Yeah,
ding,
she
ding,
got
ding,
it.
ding.
She know her stuff. All
And the
right.
sound effects.
Editor, key sound
Second
effect.
question.
Thank you.
How many international players does CSUF basketball have this season?
Women's.
Women's first.
Just one. Danielle. Danielle.
Okay.
Alright, yeah.
Okay, where's she from?
Jamaica.
Okay. You know your teammates. All right, and for the men's side.
They have a few. Swish is from Grenada. JP is from like Colombia or something. Rich is from Trinidad or Canada. I don't know. And then
Canada, yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah,
It's Canada,
yeah.
right?
Jackson's from Canada, I think too. And then there's another one. I think I'm gonna say 5.
Yeah,
Is
you're
it 5?
correct. There's 5.
Five.
Wow,
Ding,
she
ding,
knows
ding.
her stuff. All right, but it's actually the 5th one is Darcy Malone from Australia.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Iman, for coming into the studio. Everybody give her a round of applause. Everybody in the studio. So that's going to do it for our basketball discussion for Inside the Basket. I'm Jasmine Arenas.
I'm Alan Huerta.
And I'm Christian Vigil.
Make sure to stay tuned with us for all things on Fullerton Hoops. Until next time, have a great night.